Deep within the endless forests of Norway, far beyond the last roads and abandoned hiking trails, there is a cabin that does not appear on any official map. Most people never find it. Those who do rarely speak about it afterward. And the few who try describing it always mention the same thing first. The forest becomes silent before you see the cabin. Daniel learned about the place from an old post hidden deep in an online hiking forum. The message had no replies, no username, and no date. It only said, "If the trees stop making sound, turn back immediately." Daniel ignored the warning. He had spent years filming strange locations for his channel, abandoned towns, forgotten bunkers, underground tunnels. He thought the cabin was simply another internet legend designed to scare curious travelers. By late afternoon, he entered the forest alone. At first, everything felt normal. Wind moved through the trees, distant birds echoed above him, and dry branches cracked beneath his boots. But after nearly 2 hours of hiking, something changed. The sounds disappeared. Completely. No birds. No wind. Even his footsteps felt strangely muted. Daniel stopped walking. The silence pressed against him like pressure underwater. "This place is incredible," he whispered into the camera. But even his own voice sounded wrong. Too quiet. As if the forest absorbed sound itself. Then he noticed the trees. Every trunk around him leaned slightly inward. Toward the path. Toward him. Daniel laughed nervously. "That's not creepy at all." He continued forward. The deeper he walked, the darker the forest became despite the sun still hanging above the mountains. Fog drifted slowly between the trees, thickening unnaturally fast. Then, he saw the cabin. Small, wooden, almost hidden beneath towering pine trees. Smoke rose slowly from the chimney. Daniel froze. No way. The structure looked old, but not abandoned. Warm yellow light glowed faintly through one window. Someone was inside. Relief washed over him instantly. Finally, another person. He approached carefully. The closer he got, the stranger the cabin felt. There were no footprints in the mud surrounding it. No vehicle tracks. No signs anyone actually lived there. Yet the smoke continued rising. The front door stood slightly open. Daniel knocked softly. No answer. The silence around the cabin felt heavier than anywhere else in the forest. Then, a chair creaked inside. Daniel stepped backward slightly. Hello. Nothing. Only the sound of slow movement somewhere deeper inside the cabin. The door opened wider on its own. Warm air drifted out, and a voice whispered softly from inside. "You came back." Daniel stood frozen outside the cabin doorway. The voice inside had sounded calm, almost welcoming. But one thing about it felt deeply wrong. It sounded familiar. Too familiar. "I think you have the wrong person," Daniel said carefully. No answer came immediately. The cabin remained silent for several seconds before the same voice whispered again. "You always say that." A cold feeling spread through Daniel's chest. He stepped closer to the doorway and looked inside. The cabin appeared larger than it should have been. A fire burned softly in the stone fireplace, casting warm orange light across wooden walls covered with old photographs. Every photograph had been turned upside down. Daniel frowned. "Hello." A floorboard creaked upstairs. Slow. Heavy. Someone was walking above him. The staircase leading upward disappeared into darkness. Daniel backed away slightly. "This isn't funny." Then the front door slammed shut behind him. The sound echoed violently through the cabin. Daniel spun around instantly and grabbed the handle. Locked. No. The fire in the fireplace crackled louder. And slowly, the photographs on the wall began turning by themselves. One after another. Daniel stared in silence. Every photograph showed the same cabin, but in different seasons, different years. And in every single photo, someone stood outside near the trees. Watching the cabin, Daniel stepped closer to one picture. His breath stopped. The figure standing beside the forest looked exactly like him. Same face, same jacket, same camera bag. No. Footsteps echoed upstairs again. Closer this time. Daniel looked toward the staircase. A shadow moved slowly across the upper hallway, then stopped. The voice returned once more. "You stayed longer this time." Daniel's heartbeat pounded violently. "What is this place?" The cabin groaned softly around him. The walls creaked, almost like breathing. Then, a new sound echoed from outside. Knocking. 3 slow knocks against the front door. Daniel stared at it in confusion. Someone was outside now. The voice upstairs whispered softly, "Don't open it." The knocking came again. Harder this time. Daniel moved toward the door carefully. The handle began turning slowly on its own from the outside. And beneath the door, he saw muddy footprints. Fresh footprints, leading into the cabin, not out.